Hey guys, Derek here. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome for the first time if you are new. We are back to watch another episode of Doctor Who. This is season 14/season 1, episode 4. This one is called 73 Yards. Last episode was probably my favorite of the three that we've gotten so far, called Boom, and it involved the Doctor stuck on a landmine essentially throughout most of the episode. Took place pretty much entirely in one crater, and I thought it was super engaging, and I'm very excited to see where we go from here. So, before we jump into this, if you end up enjoying my reaction, please leave a like on the video. It means a lot to me. If you're new here, hit subscribe, ring the bell so you're notified when I upload, and then if you want to see the full uncut version of this reaction, consider supporting me on Patreon or joining YouTube memberships. You just sync up your own copy of the show and you can watch along with me. But, other than that, let's jump into another episode of Doctor Who.
Oh, yes! We are in Wales! Spectacular!
How can you tell?
Oh, that smell.
Come on, Ruby. You can't smell Wales.
The war between the land and the sea.
I like how they
Wales
have new
twice.
outfits
I went
every
to see
episode.
Shy Girl
Oh.
in Cardiff, and then I went to Mumbles when I was about 16 because of a boy. I think I broke his heart, but...
She's undoubtedly
Roger
broken
Atwood.
many boys' hearts.
That's a bad example of the Welsh. Terrifying.
Oh, yeah?
The most dangerous prime minister in history. He led the world to the brink of nuclear... Yikes, sorry, he was 2046. Forget I said anything.
Nothing
tell me what
bad to
happened.
look forward to. Basically another landmine they just stepped on.
Oh, it's a
Spooky.
circle. Someone made this.
It's not a very good circle.
Oh, it looks like something made by children, doesn't it? Lucky Charms and bird
Made by
schools.
fairies.
Rest in peace, Mad Jack. Oh, poor old Mad Jack. Bless him, eh? Looks like some sort of memorial.
Where did the Doctor go?
Hey, it's locked.
The TARDIS has locked you out.
It's from the inside. Doctor?
The freaking piss balls is going on. Are you doing sign language or are you casting a spell?
Can you just wait there? Okay.
Again, is this sign language or is she casting a spell?
Okay. Okay. Very clever. Are you a part of this?
Would the TARDIS translate
What have you done? Did
sign
you do
language?
This? Where's the doctor? Where is he? What have you done to him?
How about we get a little closer to her and maybe she can hear us better. Damn, this lady. Spooky following her. She's gonna turn around and be 2 feet in front of her. Oh, it's getting cold out now, baby. You're gonna want to find shelter. That looks like a town over there. Shrug, offer,
Hello there.
pizza dough.
Oh, you must be mad. Is that all you're wearing?
Yeah, I got kind of
This
caught.
is...
Oh, you poor thing.
I know, what a day.
Is this not the same lady that's been in like 4 straight episodes? What is going on?
I haven't met you before, have I?
You have.
Well, I don't think so.
She, she was a
Sorry, could you help me? That woman.
not a pilot, but a worker Federation person in Space Babies, and then in Maestro, she was the coffee lady,
This is gonna sound.
and
a
then
bit
in
mad.
Boom, she
But
was
she's following
an
me.
ambulance lady.
I think
and
I
now
may
she's
have
here
trespassed
again.
or something. Oh, could you ask her if she knows the doctor?
Do you need a doctor?
No, but can you just ask?
I'll try.
Okay, so she sees this lady as well. Like, this isn't a hallucination. Excusez-moi? What the nutsack? Lady. Rubes, why don't you just, like, go up to her and ask her what she wants? If this was me in that situation, I would just be annoyed.
Have you got a room for the night?
I have. 65 quid.
Can I pay with my phone?
Can you what?
Can I pay with my phone?
What is this?
How do you pay with your phone?
What do you mean? That kid had a
It's
phone.
sort of like online banking.
Do you guys not know what
The
phones
phone
are?
can transfer money from my account into...
Yes, you can pay with your phone.
Why are you being such a bitch, lady? Come on now.
Thank you.
We're not quite the Dark Ages, young lady, despite what they say.
Not an issue with Dark Ages. Some places of establishment just don't have tap by pay.
That woman out there, can you see her? Do you know who she is?
I've never seen her. Why?
She's spooky.
5 quid?
How much?
5 quid.
$5? How much?
If
What's the
there's a woman
conversion?
following you, have you tried asking her why?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Confront this spooky demon.
Following's the wrong word. Because she doesn't
She's stalking you.
approach. She comes so far. And...
She's exactly 73 yards away.
I suppose, to coin a new word in Latin, it would be semper distans, always distant.
Oh my god, Josh is running.
Josh is running.
See, I was with my friend, and we walked into this thing up on the cliff tops. Just like a witchcraft sort of thing.
Yeah, some spooky shit's happening now.
What do you mean, cotton?
Do you not know what cotton is? Like, what are you talking about?
It's what they call a fairy circle.
You can ask him.
I
about
said
that.
fairies.
Face.
When you say you walked into it, did you break it?
Theoretically? Yeah?
The cliff tops are a boundary between the land and the sea. A liminal space, neither here nor there.
Liminal spaces.
And then there's the blood.
What blood?
What blood?
Do you know why Wales has so many picturesque little castles?
No.
They were torture centers set up by the English to rule with fear.
Steeped in blood we are.
Oh. Fat rip to the people of the past.
And I walked away as soon as it said rest in peace.
What did?
The messages, the little scrolls.
You read them?
Well, just a couple.
You opened them and read them.
Why did you do that?
What? How are you supposed to know not to do that?
Rest in peace, Mad Jack.
Is this Lady Mad Jack?
He was insane.
And he's dead.
But now she's broken the
He's
circle.
dead.
But what does that mean?
The charm was very clear.
You've awoken him.
Mad Jack is unbound.
Oh, don't.
Mega fat rip.
I'm the one he'd kill first, and you know why, don't you?
What the hell have you
Because
done?
you're gay?
That's just someone at the door.
Is that why that one girl said that you know about fairies?
Answer the door.
Don't. Why would you tell her to answer the door? It's the doctor.
My God, it's him.
It's the doc.
Hurry up,
Never
I've got my
mind.
hands full. You've got enough passes here to last 2 weeks.
Cuts his head off.
For God's sake, child, you walked into a piece of string. Can I stand you a pint, Eddie?
Don't mind if I do.
Well, there's still shenanigans afoot. Yogurt.
I said to Josh, I said, we haven't seen you. He said, I'm never coming back. I said, why? And he said, ask her. So I'm asking you, why?
I think he meant ask her.
Does Ruby not want to... She don't want to chat with this lady? Can she walk up to her? Maybe you have to do some weird circle shenanigans. Make your own circle.
I'm going now. Okay? You win.
Walk up to her. Come on now. This is like a non-murder version of It Follows. I would be crying. This is scary.
No, but I've told you, everyone she talks to, they just run away.
Yes, but Welsh people.
It's just Welsh people are weird or something.
Just be careful, okay?
Having a nice time?
Mrs. Flood, you know things.
She looks like what she is.
A demon?
What's she saying? I can't quite hear. Mum, whatever she's saying, just don't... No, Mum! Mum, don't listen to her! Please don't do this to me, Mum! Mum, don't do this to me, Mum! Mum, please stop! Mum!
Yo, confront the demon lady. She's getting in a cab. She's dipping. Damn, she's being abandoned by a second mother.
Come on, Mum, Granny's calling you everything. And if you do come home, I'll make that shepherd's pie, yeah? We can sit down and just pretend that... Hang on.
Oh, Granny changed the locks. You can't even get in no
Oh,
more.
no, you didn't know. Mom! Mom, can you hear me? Come on, you can't change the locks on me, come on!
What is happening?
Please stop calling or go away.
I'm your daughter.
Well, except you're not. Are you? Even your real mother didn't want you.
God damn! How you just say that to her? What is the spooky demon lady telling you? Bro, confront the goddamn woman. Are we ever gonna try that?
I take it that's the woman
Oi.
behind me, is that right? We have a tradition of helping the Doctor's former companions once they
Former
return to a
companions.
normal life.
No, I was hardly with him, really.
But it felt like a lifetime. Well, we're the Unified Intelligence Task Force created to investigate the extraterrestrial
unit.
and more the supernatural. Things seem to be turning that way these days.
Sometimes.
I think this timeline might be suspended along your event. I'm glad we found you.
What does that mean?
73 yards. I've measured it 100 times. I've measured it 1,000 times. It's 73 yards.
But if you went on a plane,
Yeah, she's still there. Yo,
don't worry.
go
Quite
talk to the lady. Record what she says.
My staff have full psychic training. We have telepathic dampeners, mesmeric shielding, and necklaces of silver and salt in case of
Yeah,
witchcraft.
but
Don't worry.
this is spooky demon stuff.
Go, go, go!
Go, go, go! They got a full-ass SWAT team. They're all gonna run away. Every one of them. They're all gonna turn and run.
I said do not engage! Disengage.
They just like have this look of disgust.
Kate!
And then they dip. Okay. Ruby, you're kind of making me mad now. You gotta pay for that now. She's 25 now?
Is there someone else?
Yes. It's this demon. 40?
The thing is...
Yeah, you don't look 40. It's only what so much makeup can do.
Thank you. And what's your take on this, Roger App Williams?
Well, no public school for me. I've done hard work. I started off as a pizza delivery boy. Mad Jack, they used to call me.
Mad Jack.
Interesting. Rest in peace, Mad Jack.
The most dangerous prime minister in history.
Even in bed.
That's the guy. The brink of war.
But it's taken me all this time to realize what I'm here to do.
Which is what?
Yeah, which is what?
I'm gonna save the world. Mwah. See ya.
Okay. Guys, confuse yourself.
I'll do leaflets, answering the phones. Just tell me what to do and I'll do anything. Hey, I'll even carry the coats.
That's exactly what they have her do. Carry the coats.
Indeed, you committed to spending £65 billion on nuclear weapons.
I'm a Welshman. I was born in Wales. That's what the app in my name means. It's not one of those apps that you used to have on your phones in the old days.
Hilarious. Speak frickin' actual words, bruv.
And the Welsh know what it's like to be oppressed. And that has taught me to say no more. And that's what I am saying, no more. So yes, I have pledged to defend our borders.
But we're members of NATO.
When did NATO ever, fire a nuclear missile? Ever?
Are you saying that you actually want to fire
Yeah, that's
a nuclear
dangerous,
missile?
bro.
We'll cut that bit out, right?
No. Why would they cut that bit out?
What about her girl over there? Is she one of ours?
She's on Danny's team. She's a volunteer.
Okay.
What's her name?
Jessica.
Marty Bridges.
Boy's name?
Okay. Are you gonna fire her because she has a boy's name?
I declare that Roger Ap William is duly elected as Member of Parliament for the constituency.
What is happening? It's just like the story went from being like a spooky countryside story to something else entirely, and I don't know how to describe it.
Between you and me, I know he's
Are you just in love with the dude?
brilliant.
Like, what's going on here?
But sometimes, I don't know, I think he gives me the shivers. Oh, he is a monster.
He looks like he'd be a serial killer.
They say Saturday is when control transfers.
What? For what?
We're purchasing the nuclear arsenal from Pakistan. And on Saturday,
Oh.
Roger will declare us independent from NATO. Saturday,
That
Roger Ap
seems...
William gets the codes.
That seems bad.
I'm sorry it took so long. Because I think I'll only get one chance. And I had to make sure I was right. But I wish I could have helped you. I'm so sorry.
What does that mean? What is happening? She's gonna walk straight onto the pitch and get tackled.
Ruby, I said keep off the grass.
Hey, get off the pitch, love.
Ruby, what are you doing?
What's she doing?
What is she doing?
Hey! There are no unofficial photos, thank you!
55 yards.
Put that down!
56 yards.
She's gonna back up until that guy is right next to her and then make him run away.
68 yards.
Are you going to shoot her? What do you think?
72 yards. 73 yards.
What is up with that Marty lady? Watch Marty be the true evil.
And 50 minutes later, Roger Ap Gwilliam resigned from the office of Prime Minister.
Okay, all right. What a tag team. You and the demon lady. I don't think she's 40 years later, bruv. Alright, we're gonna have to do some time shenanigans to get us back to the present day.
I'm sorry, Ruby. I can't drive any closer. I can't get a signal for the engine this far out.
Signal for the engine?
I haven't been here in such a long time. What a beautiful view.
It's like the car operates like a phone. Ruby, go talk to that fucking lady. I'm literally gonna kill myself if you don't speak to her. The TARDIS itself has become a monument.
It never snowed again.
Again? Climate change got that bad? It's a mega fat rip.
I know. Why?
That tree makes it look like that lady's been hung there.
And I've been thinking about it my whole life. Why is she here?
What if Ruby died this episode? Like, what if she just straight up dies?
I've set the light, Ruby.
Christ, she's in hospice.
I could make it snow once upon a time.
Sure, Gran.
Don't worry. Everyone has abandoned me my whole life.
Except for one lady.
But I haven't been alone for 65 years.
Okay, voices whispering. Progress.
Light.
She's closer. Ruby, are you dying? Is death getting closer to you? I'm just so confused, honestly. She's gonna turn around and it's gonna be herself. That's why you can't focus on her face, because it is her.
I was sorry I took so long. And I tried so hard. It took all these years.
In the end.
All these long years.
Never even mattered.
I was so
She's
young.
the bent neck lady. Oh my god. Ruby, you're the bent neck lady.
Who's she?
Who?
What, over there?
Where?
Why is she
There's a
making the
woman.
weird motions, though? Ruby's going all bent neck lady on us.
Well, she's not there anymore.
But there was a woman. She was just standing there.
All right, Ruby. All right.
Oh, no, don't step.
What?
What is it?
It's a fairy circle. Just charms and spells and hopes and dreams. It's here at the end of the land.
Well, yeah, what did they say?
No.
So she went bent neck lady mode, and her old version made a wish while this fairy circle was still functioning and in peace, and it fixed everything.
So, what was the third time that you've been to Wales? You said you've been 3 times? What was the other one?
As an old ass lady.
No, I don't know. When was it? I can't think. I suppose. Now.
What the fuck? I'm so confused. Okay, I'm so confused. But like, my initial thoughts is it just reminded me so much of the bent neck lady from Haunting of Hill House. Light spoilers, well, not light spoilers, very significant spoilers for The Haunting of Hill House. If you haven't seen that, I'll put a timestamp in the video so you know like when to skip ahead to. But it's like directly the bent neck lady, like in Haunting of Hill House. Little Nellie has been haunted essentially her whole life by this lady she calls the bent neck lady. And it's this lady that like just has like a straight up bent neck, and she has no idea like what the frick is going on, and she can't ever see the lady's face because hair is in front of her face. Like she doesn't know like who it is, like what's going on, and it like haunts her whole life is the bent neck lady. And it even like contributes, like she has like panic attacks, like sleep paralysis type stuff, and then there's a lot of other elements from the main story that like tie into it and how this like house is haunted. And at one point she goes back to the haunted house I mean, you all, if you've seen this, you all know. But she goes back to the house, and the spooky house and like her mom kind of essentially like trick her or like convince her into killing herself at the house, at the Hill House. And she hangs herself in the house, and then her like whole life flashes in front of her eyes, and it's all moments, like she sees moments where the bent neck lady has interacted with her, and you realize that Nell herself is the bent neck lady, and she's been haunting herself for her entire life. And it's this heartbreaking realization, and her neck is bent because she hung herself, and it's just like this whole big thing. And that makes me think of this. Makes me think of this episode. End of the spoiler section for Haunting of Hill House. But yeah, like with Ruby growing old, and it also kind of feels like Returnal in a sense, the game. She's growing old, and she, is like dying, and like sees, she like goes back and like has a vision of like being at the spot, and it's essentially like she is the spooky lady. That I don't know why it made all those people like run away though. Like what the frick is happening there? That part is confusing. Like why did everyone run away when they talked to this lady? Like I don't know, it felt like two separate storylines kind of pushed into one, and it was good, but it was also just like what the heck is happening? Like they added in the part to the like Prime Minister and the nuclear codes. Like, I feel like this would have been a really satisfying, engaging, like, supernatural story without that. And then they added it in, and it just, like, adds this extra element of, like, was that the whole purpose of this lady, was to stop Mad Jack from like taking over the world? Like, was Mad Jack someone that actually died? Like, was that a thing that happened? Mad Jack lived in this Welsh town and died, and someone wrote a note that said, like, we miss you, Mad Jack, or whatever, and breaking that circle brought him back to life somehow, and then he became, like, ran for Prime Minister and was about to destroy the world. And she stopped him by making him run away from the old lady. She stopped the nuclear war part, but then she also stopped him from coming back to life by not stepping on the circle. I don't know. And how does that Marty girl factor into this? Like, I don't understand. There are elements to this story that are just, they're like, there's loose ends and stuff that just, like, I don't personally understand, and I feel kind of lost on. But maybe we'll learn more. I don't know. I just don't know. Like, don't know how to feel about this episode. Like, I was very engaged the whole time, and, like, I feel like I really enjoyed it. Like, my initial thought, like, if someone was to ask me, like, did you like that episode? I'd be like, yeah, it was really good. But also, the episode ended, and I'm like, what? Like, what just happened? Like, I don't, cue the gif of David Tennant. Just, what? just like the ending makes no sense. The only part of the ending that I think makes sense to me, I don't know how Ruby, like, manifested herself into the past. That part is confusing. I guess, I don't know, Ruby is some weird mystical being that, like, has the power to, like, manifest things anyway. Like, she's manifesting snow all the time, and somehow that also means, like, she can manifest her being into the past. And my only guess is like, this fairy circle is, like, it's in a liminal space. They talked about, the people in the pub talked about how, like, this area, this like town, this country, whatever, is kind of like a liminal space. Like, there's the breakup between the sea and the earth, where it's just like there's always this, like, back and forth dichotomy, as well as, like, the countryside is, like, steeped in the blood of, like, generations of individuals, and it just kind of all leads to this, like, wibbly wobbly, spooky folk horror kind of environment. And this fairy circle is also in itself, like, a somewhat supernatural type thing. The supernatural is a thing that is real in Doctor Who. Like, when we look at, what was it, one of the specials with David Tennant and Catherine Tate, where that's how the Toymaker got in to this universe in the first place. Is, like, at the end of the universe, the Doctor invoked superstition with the salt, and so we know that's a real thing, and, like, superstition is playing a larger part of the series as a whole. And so, like, they're already in this place, this environment of superstitious power, and then you add on the fact that there's a fairy circle, which is just, like, a whole other lore of superstition, and it's just compounding superstition, right? And they step on the circle, and they release Mad Jack back into the world, and he almost starts a war. All that. So then Ruby is also some weird mystical being. She projects herself back in the past, and as an old lady, like, she is saying, like, don't step on that circle, like, don't do it, like, don't step. And in so combining all of these things, right, you combine the mystical nature of Ruby, you combine the supernatural aura of Wales, you combine the supernatural element of the fairy circle, you combine all of it, and, you know, like, the fairy circle makes wishes come true, all la-di-da-di-da, like, that's the superstition, is like, they're wishing things, they're saying, like, rest in peace, like, there are messages. I think what Ruby did was give a message to the circle. If that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making sense, but you know how, like, other people had, like, written messages, like, they had messages that were written down, like, rest in peace, Mad Jack. That message kept him resting. Maybe when old ass Ruby is like, don't step, she is putting a message out there, and the magicness of that fairy circle and the magicness of the area combine, and they manifested reality in a way where the Doctor no longer steps on the fairy circle, and him no longer stepping on the fairy circle alters time to where none of all that jazz ever happened. And she disappears, the old lady disappears, because in so not stepping on the circle, none of it happened. Old Ruby doesn't exist anymore. That is my interpretation of, like, the causality events, like how things, like, logistically played out. And then Ruby has that, like back of your mind sensation of, like, I've been here before, because she has. You know, she says she's been here 3 times, and in reality she's only been here 2 times up to that point, but the 3rd time is like, it doesn't even have to be exactly 3 times. It could be like, you know, she's come here 1,000 times, I don't know, but it's just the back of your mind presence of knowing that you've been here, and that's the presence from the old lady. That back of the mind presence is making her think, oh, I've been here 3 times, even though she hasn't. It's just like, it's just very confusing, because you're like, what the freaking piss went down? Like, I don't even know. I wanted to know the some of the things that Ruby did this episode legitimately made me mad. Like, I want to know what that lady was saying to people. Like, what Ruby, I want to know what Ruby was saying to people, to make them just flee. Like, I don't know. Like, did they see through time? Did they see death when they talked to her? Like, it's very, very weird and confusing. Like, that's confusing, but then Ruby, as far as we know, like, we, at least what we never saw, Ruby straight up, like, try and talk to this lady herself. Like, I'm assuming that if Ruby walks towards this woman, she still stays 73 yards away. Like, we kind of saw at the very beginning, she walked a little bit towards her, but it didn't do a good job of visually telling us, like, letting the audience know that, like, she, like, Ruby herself cannot get closer to her. Because if she can't get closer to her, then that takes away some of my annoyances of the episode, because the whole time I'm like, yo, Ruby, just talk to this lady, like, go confront her. But if she's literally, like, physically not able to get closer to the woman, that makes sense. They did do a good job of translating that, like, if she tries to move farther away from the woman gets, like, close and maintains the distance. but they didn't really like visually or like narratively do a great job at like explaining like, hey, she also can't get closer. I mean, the one lady gave the like Latin definition of like a consistent distance away, but I don't know. It would have been nice from a visual storytelling standpoint to have Ruby like actively try and like chase this woman down and talk to her or something. But they never did that. So you just have to assume that she also can't get closer to her, and that then, you know, the story functions fine as it is then. But it would have been nice to have just like one 15-second scene that explains that. You know, but I mean, they do a decent enough job, again, like I said, of explaining that like the lady's always 73 yards away no matter what. Like, no matter how, that's the part, is they went a great distance to explain that, like, no matter how far away Ruby tries to go, that she's always 73 yards away. But they didn't say, like, if Ruby tries to get closer, she's still 73 yards away. That's the part that annoys me. Some elements of it make sense. Like, when she's like, I feel like if I get on a plane or take a boat somewhere and get too far away, I'll die and she'll die. And that makes sense because they're both the same person. Like, there's just this foreboding element to the situation. But yeah, it very much reminded me of The Haunting of Hill House and the game Returnal, where like you're encountering this individual in your past and it's has this massive impact on you, whether it's like actual events or just like a nightmare or something, and then you realize that you are that person. And it's just spooky. There's some really interesting theories online about like what other possibilities this meant, and one of them was like that the stepping on the fairy circle didn't start this whole thing in a way, and that like it's a manifestation of like Ruby's abilities, because she can like make it snow as like a thing from her past. And one of the theories thought that like the Doctor steps on this circle and breaks it, and then like a fairy takes him, and Ruby's like weird manifestation ability somehow creates this time loop to like preserve her, or like preserve time in some way, so that she can go back and fix it and then keep going. And that's like an interesting different thing of like the Doctor was just straight up stolen by a fairy, and Ruby's abilities like subconsciously manifested a situation where she saves him. Like, that's wild. Like, her fear of abandonment triggered so hard that it like created this whole time loop to bring him back. Like, that's wild. Yeah, this episode could also be like a metaphor for like what it's like. Like, it's like a combined metaphor for like what it's like being a companion of the Doctor, of like you go back to your everyday life and it always feels like you're distant and like you can't really engage in what's going on, because there's this like, you're always thinking about the Doctor, like you're always just like engaged in previous thought, or like thinking about being off on some adventure, and you can't really like engage with that environment, and it makes pushes people away. But then it could also be a metaphor like for Ruby's like fear of abandonment. You know, she had her birth mother gave her up, and then at various points throughout this episode, people run away from her, including her adoptive mother. You know, she literally has her adoptive mother be like, even your birth mother didn't want you. And so like this could be like a manifestation of like her fear of abandonment. Like, there's so many different things that could be happening. But from like a logistical time loop scenario, we have, you know, Ruby 1, let's say Ruby 1 and Doctor 1 get out of the TARDIS. They step on the circle, Doctor goes away. Ruby 1 continues life. Meanwhile, old Ruby 2 is following her constantly. You know, everywhere she goes, following her. And she continues to go get old. Ruby 1 saves the world from nukes, whatever. Ruby 1 gets old, right? Ruby 1 gets old. And then, like... and then my theory is that Ruby 1 and Ruby 2's manifestation powers, like they are able to manifest things, send her back in time. And so Ruby 1 Ruby 1 essentially becomes Ruby 2, if that makes sense. So like Ruby 1, once she gets old enough, essentially becomes Ruby 2, like, or they like combine, whatever. Their combined manifestation powers is enough to send them back in time and say like, don't step on this circle. They don't step on the circle. Ruby 1 and 2 cease to exist, and then Ruby 3 is now then the one that continues, because the events of this essentially never happened. I don't know. It's interesting, very confusing. I really enjoyed it. It was really good. I'm just very confused. Like, there are elements that are still very confusing. Like, what the frick? Who is that Marty girl? Like, they introduced this whole, like, suspicious side plot with Marty. At least that was her name, right? Marty, where like that Mad Jack guy has some like random infatuation with her or whatever, where he's like, is she with us? And she's just like awkwardly like standing there and being weird, and then at some point they maybe had a relationship or he did something to her, I don't know, but she's like, oh, he's a monster, and it's like, what does that mean? And then when he runs away, she's like cackling, laughing. I was like, is she secretly a demon? Like, what is I don't understand that element of it. Like, what did that girl have to do with anything? Like, that was spooky. And then another element that keeps coming up, like it keeps happening, that old lady. In this episode, she was a hiker that Ruby meets along the way. That lady has been in every episode. Like, episode 1, she was a crew member of the Space Baby station that was like resigning due to like they didn't believe in the mission or whatever. Episode 2, she was one of the people that served the Doctor and Ruby coffee in the past. Episode 3, boom, she was the old lady face on the ambulance. And like, I didn't pick these up until editing after. But then in this episode, she's that Walker lady. She's been in 4 episodes. Like, what the piss balls is happening with her? Is she the one who waits? Is she the oldest one? I don't know. I'm very confused on her role in this situation. I really want to know. Otherwise, we had the return of Mrs. Flood in this episode, who she didn't give off any weird vibes in this specific episode, but like back when we did Ruby's first like Christmas special or whatever, she was like, she knew what a TARDIS was, and that was weird, and like she stared into the camera, and so who knows what her role is. There's just like elements to this episode that are so confusing and weird and just leave me just dumbfounded as to what the frick just happened. But my overall feelings of the episode was that I really enjoyed it. Like, I really had a good time with it. And I'm like, it almost feels similar in vibe. I mentioned Hill House and Returnal, but also kind of feels like Blink a little bit, where it's like a self-contained episode, even though Blink had far-reaching consequences for lore with like the Weeping Angels and all these things. It felt in vibe similar to Blink, where it's just like you're following this person that is like stuck in this supernatural situation, and there's like elements of time loopy past present things going on, and it's just very, very curious. And yeah, this is a supernatural Doctor Who British non-murdery version of Hill House, Returnal, and It Follows all mixed into one. And I had a great time. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's all I have to say about this episode. Definitely let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. I'm very curious to see how you guys feel. Otherwise, if you enjoyed my reaction, please leave a like on the video. It means a lot to me. If you're new here or you find yourself coming back often, hit subscribe, ring the bell so you're notified when I upload. And then if you would like to see the full uncut version of this reaction, consider supporting me on Patreon or joining YouTube memberships. You just sync up your own copy of the show and you can watch along with me. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.